gotta say, it's a little rainy out there this morning. But good morning, and good morning, and welcome back to Moontime Devotions. I'm your host, Mr. Graham. It's an honor and a privilege to have you this morning with me. It is exactly 5:03 a.m. Another late start this morning, but nevertheless, we've arrived and we've made our coffee and we're ready to start the day. So folks, we'll just cut right to the chase this beautiful morning. Now, the first episode that we had of the Moontime Devotions, we talked about convenience, safety, and cooperation. And then on the second episode, we talked about love, action, productivity. So today, we're going to embrace convenience, safety, and cooperation with the people around us and with the day-to-day problem solving. And then we're going to bring and incorporate love, action, productivity. And it'll be a constant, beautiful thing. And life continues to go that way. Ideal for an early morning like this. And so now, this beautiful morning, I had a couple things on my mind. As I wake up, let's see how they start to flourish in my mind here. So, thinking of these shows on the spot, I never have much time to rehearse or perform or think about what I really need to say. So I'm caught off guard most mornings, but this morning I had a little bit of time to think about it, and I talked to our people behind the scenes. They're wonderful, wonderful people who help us run this show. Beautiful people. They're wonderful people. They invest, they put money into it. We're thinking of opening up a Patreon for donations and for new equipment. You know, a lot of our equipment here is kind of out of date and kind of lost its light and its flavor, and so some of this stuff is old, and we need more new equipment in here to make the show even better. And so our people behind the scenes have been so gracious to start a Patreon, and that will soon be in the description or on the YouTube channel. We're excited to get that started up. Now, as you saw today, it was another rainy day. I woke up this morning and saw in the video, and it's downpour. It's raining and raining and raining, coming down like cats and dogs. Of course. I expected such. And really, it's nice to have the rain. But so we're sitting here, and I'm feeding the dog. She just finished her breakfast, and we're just waiting for the door magic, and considering everything that we've learned so far. Because we've learned a lot so far, folks. We've learned power with convenience and safety, and we learned the presets of the clamping on this side of love, action, productivity. And these are all very organic things that you can find. And so, my idea here, I guess, is to continue to share this life coach advice for you, because a life coach of mine shared this with me, and so we continue to share this valuable information to whoever wants to hear it. Now here we go. Let's let the missus in. The missus has finished her dinner, and we're gonna let her in. Good girl. Wonderful. Thank you, missus. Thank you for your time. Okay. Now, where was I? So, as I was mentioning before, can you see that? Okay. Oh. Now, as I was mentioning before, every morning here on Moontime Devotions, we have a chance and opportunity to learn new things. Convenience, safety, cooperation, love, action, productivity. You don't want a 30-second button. That's what we learned yesterday morning. And the morning before that, we learned about the unnatural divisions of mankind here on Earth with the caveman analogy. Man want hut and woman, but other man want fish and stick. And one man thinks hut and fish and stick and stone. You know, tippy tippy tappy tappy tone. You get the totem pole of what I was trying to say there, and so that was beautiful. Anyway, and without further ado, as I am still waking up, ladies and gentlemen, do not be convinced that I've gotten the upper hand. I'm still still basically asleep. I haven't even wiped my eyes very much yet this morning. I wiped them maybe once, so my clarity is not very clear and I'm stumbling on my words, but here's what we're going to talk about today. Today we are going to talk about travel. Traveling and how we can use travel to exercise. And so, rewarding most action travels. So the most rewarding to go is the theme of this morning's episode. The rewarding way to go. The rewarding to go travel. The travel rewarding way to go. So, on a daily basis, I don't know for everyone, but for me, I love to go traveling. One of my best hobbies lately is to travel. I had just recently gone to a trip to Florida, to the Everglades, and I got to pet the gators and feed the vultures. And that was a very nice and sweet time. I got to check out the old towns of Florida and some of the bigger cities now put there. Learning about the newest, or the rather oldest American history that you could find about Florida, because Florida is a very old provenance. You know, there was things established in Florida before it was even a colony. So this was before the Revolutionary War. There was things established there, 1500s, if you will. Anyway, but travel is absolutely important. If you want to travel, you gotta go travel. The most rewarding way is to go. The most to go rewarding way is to travel. So get your makeup bag and put your makeup on, put your face on, buy you a ticket, and come with me on this travel journey. And together we will find the luxuries of planet Earth and the new territories that we haven't seen before. And how pretty it is to be on Earth with a smile, a bag, and nothing rehearsed. So, now defrost that in your mind a little bit. Defrost that in your mind. That's an easy, clean interior. It really is. It really, really is. That's a husky puppy. Early in the morning by the marigolds. That's weeds taller than my knees, keeping me high stepping from snakes and rats and bees. Oh boy. Oh, and so it's wonderful to go traveling. Um, you know, so many days of the year, I think the majority of people like to stay home, take their shoes off, make a pizza. Um, and of course, since this new a couple of years ago, since the COVID crisis had hit America, gosh, well, we've all really stayed home quite a bit, and so we've had to really change the way we look at the world and how we live, our lifestyles. We had to change our lifestyles back in 2020 because everyone, remember, wearing the masks. You can't be 6 feet in front of somebody. We were all locked down because of a very deadly virus that was. I'm not sure where it came from. Let's not talk about that anymore. But yeah, so we've all acclimated to staying indoors too much. I think just too much. At least personally for me, I was indoors way too much, and I just woke up one day and I said, Aunt Manama and Grandma Hotel and Brother Bill and Mama Sweet, I gotta go. I gotta get up and move. My body be stiff. I'd be as pale as a zombie. I'd be as pale as rotten milk because I had been inside too long. And so traveling was the convenience and safety and cooperation that I needed to get out and find love, action, productivity, which was the most rewarding travel way to go. And that was priceless. So, we went out, we set out to LA. That was my first destination. I went on the plane to LA. From here, I'm up North California in the mountains here. And so we went from here to LA, to the big city. Ooh! And I remember the big city, and I sat there. I remember I got off the plane, and I saw all the lights and all the people, and I go, whoa, oh, 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 oh. Look at this city, look at the people. I felt like holding up my cup and saying, hello. Would you spare a dime of enthusiasm? Because boy, am I excited to be in this big city. I had never seen so many people in so many different social situations where we could dance and sing and play. And this was LA. Yeah, this was the beautiful city of LA, Los Angeles. And I remember I was just there recently, and we got to travel, and I went down to a wonderful, beautiful place called Skid Row. I don't know if you've ever heard of Skid Row, but it's down there by a street called Alameda. I think Alameda, South Alameda, downtown LA. It was about 3 in the morning on this beautiful place called Skid Row. And man, I was just walking out there real early in the morning waiting for my train. And I just met some of the most beautiful people out there. I remember the officer with the badge and the stun gun. He said, you go wait at Denny's. He said, there's a Denny's across the street from Union Station. And you wait at Denny's until train station open. And you be good. Well, I looked at him silly and I said, you are funny, because I ain't gonna go to Denny's. Why spend money where we can wander around and really explore and get a feel for downtown LA? And so me and my friends, we walked around LA early in the morning, and we met very nice people. The first man we walked by had a wonderful little campfire. He had a nice little campfire right by his bed. Right there, about a quarter of a mile down from the train station. and he had all his things all lined up nice and pretty, and we met lots of people walking by with very elaborate dressings, and lots of people with colorful language out there, different cultures, a very cultured and arty place, I have to say. Now that same night we tried to use a scooter. I couldn't ride that scooter, no good, no well. Oh boy, I tried riding that scooter and I rented it for $6 and I almost crashed. I am not the type for scooters that move by themselves. You know, you click the button and you keep moving before you can even blink. You're going 20 miles per hour. And there wasn't much of a bike lane out there, and so we parked that thing and we let it go. We just went on foot, and a blessing to do so, because we met so many beautiful people along the way. You know, there was people with clothes that I've never seen before, be worn in different ways, and a lot of people had a lot of interviews. You know, I think people had earpieces because there's a lot of people out there talking out loud, but there was no one else around them, but they were having a full conversation. So I think they had those what do they call it? Bluetooth ear tooths? Well, they had those ear tooth little circular devices, right? Or sometimes it's a block, like a rectangle, and it's called an ear tooth. They put it right here, Bluetooth ear tooth. I got that part right. I know it's a Bluetooth, but it's an ear tooth signal receptor. And they put that in their ear, and they would be talking to whosoever, and it was cool. It was very cool. Everyone there is a business person. I learned that very quick about LA. Is everyone is an entrepreneur, no matter how they looked or where they were at or what situation it was. Anyway. But back to what I was saying, I didn't mean to get so distracted with my own story about traveling, but I suppose that's part of the vlog this morning is I get to share with you how when you travel, it opens your perspectives, and as one of my favorite teachers has told me, and I'm sure you may or may have not heard this phrase. I didn't coin this phrase, but it's a beautiful phrase that I still live on today. It's broaden your horizons. So when I was in the big city, I broadened my horizons. And I learned quite a bit. So that's your best, one of the better, benefits to traveling. So that's one thing you want to consider when you're traveling. Is where can I broaden my horizons? Where can I travel that I'm making a difference? Where can I go when the getting going fast? And how many people can I touch along the way? When it comes to a metaphysical approach, if you will, and social circle. So, the idea for traveling is you also want good skincare. You want maintenance. I personally got a facial rework on my face. I had relocated my jaw to properly stretch out, so that it was more predominant. Like there's this thing that I learned is your fingernails. So when your fingernails, sometimes your nails are popping out, and what you do is you just press them in like this. You press them in this. Anyway, I did the same thing with my jaw. I had to fix it a little bit so that it was properly symmetrical. These are facial tips that you could use when it comes to like beauty and parlor. That's when I decided to apply those things when I was out in a place where you're surrounded by a lot of beautiful people, especially on Skid Row at 3 a.m. So it was ideal for that. It was ideal for walking around and really getting exercise. So that's my second point. A little scattered this morning because it's just I woke up a little late, and I say that every morning, I think. But so the second point I have about traveling is what I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my seventh point about traveling is exercise. You get lots of exercise when you travel. You're using your 2 feet, you're using your noggin, and you're wondering where can I go to work out the thigh, the inner thigh, and the hip bones, and the hamstring strings, you know. And so you can get lots of well-needed exercise, because you can do a lot of exercise sitting at home, but when you're out and about and you get new sights, it's the best time to exercise because you're so excited to see all the new things. That you get to exercise along the way, and you don't even know you're exercising. You don't know that you're working out your muscles and doing good things like that. Being a man like you saw who loves to hike, I got lots of exercise walking around the city and going from bus to bus to train to taxi to taxi, walking 2 or 3 miles to each location, using my own 2 feet or using the electric bike where you could pedal. Lots of wonderful exercise equipment out there that you could rent. And so when you're traveling, you want to use exercise as a means to getting around, really, as a means to getting around. In fact, so one of the tips I was doing that I could share with you is when I had another location I had to get to fairly soon, I would look on my phone, my little Twilight Zone device, and I would type in Google Maps. And on Google Maps, on Google Maps, excuse me, I think it's Google Maps, a little Google map, you could really see where you're going. But anyway, you go on Google Maps and you get the goggle and you look at your next location. This is where you got to pay attention. You look at your next location, and if you're about 2 miles, maybe 3, maybe 1.5 miles. Ideally, I was about 2-3 miles away from each location. Personally, you walk. You could just walk. You put the directions in the little map. You click, point me in the right direction. I press into the because my phone is one of the, what is it? Pixie touchscreens. Pixel touchscreens. Pixie touchscreen. You click it, and it shows you where to go. It points out with all these arrows, and you have this beautiful lady telling you turn left and to southwest, turn right on East Street and 6th, 7th, and so you use your Google Maps to find the directions to walk to your next location. See, and now that you have your map on your little cellular device, because who don't have a cellular device nowadays, you can just walk to where you got to go next, and it really does make a difference. Because by the time you get to the place where you get to rest, whether that be a hotel or by the time you get to your rental car, you really feel regenerated, you feel refreshed, you feel rejuvenated, because you really earned where you had to go. You got to see new sights, and you never know who you're gonna meet along the way. There's always an opportunity. You subsequently withdraw 80% of the experiences and people you meet and things you can see when you don't walk, or when you don't ride your bike or skate with your scooter or skateboard or whatever means you have to travel or exercise. But you want something that really works the inner thigh and works the muscles in your arms, and so you could see a lot more when you're on foot and when you're traveling with just your manual self, without any automatic transportation of any kind. Then by the time you've gotten to where you got to get, you've seen almost everything, and it makes your day fuller too. And these are all within the parameters of traveling. So exercise is important all the time, but just because you're on vacation is no excuse to not travel. So personally, I liked to do it because, as you can see, I really need to lose weight. Now, I mean, I used to be 170 pounds. Now look at me. See, a little bit of traveling and exercise, you could really make a difference. Because I used to be 170 pounds, not anymore, and I'm never going back. So that's a beautiful thing. Some people tell me you need to eat more, but I said I'm eating less and less and less. My stomach's always moving. My stomach's always moving. If I can't put the centimeters around my tummy hole, if the centimeters don't line up with the tummy hole, I'm afraid I'm overweight. And so, you know what they say, thinner than a rail beats the brick mortar. And that really rings my bell when it comes to exercising and weight in general. So there's, there's 8 or 9 points right there of why traveling is so beautiful. Because it gives you a new perspective, and it just kind of refreshes your mind. Because so many times we get stuck thinking the same old thing, and we get stuck thinking the same old thoughts. I know that happens to me sometimes, where I get stuck thinking, and almost like a hamster on a wheel, or a weasel in a little cootie hole, burying itself deep in its little burrow with all its acorns and what have you. And this is what happens to human beings: is we overthink, and what we need is a little vacation sometimes. So here's one of the best parts of what I was talking about with traveling. So another cool thing about traveling is you don't have to go far. Okay, and that was the whole point of the phrase that I did coin. You see, because the most to-go rewarding way to travel isn't always that far. And how beautiful is that? So sometimes traveling is just walking down the road a bit. Walk outside your house into your neighborhood and walk down the road a ways and see what you see. You never know, you might find something cool on the road. You might see some local neighborhood pets, cats, and people walking their dogs. You never know who you're going to meet. You might be able to meet one of your neighbors, and they might be your best friend for life, and you would have never known unless you went traveling locally. So traveling locally, that's the best way to put it, is very nice, and it can really broaden your horizons and get you ready for bigger travels to come. So it's a great way to prepare and to be ready for all the travels that may be around. And one thing I like to do is I like to get a piece of gum. I open it up, I put it in my mouth, back of my mouth here. And I go walking down the street. And hello there, Ain't Really Bone? I know you from back in the Madison. And you start a conversation, and you never know what they're gonna say. I talked to this gentleman the other day. He was 63, and he was telling me, well, you see, back in my day, we went to Mexico, and we would dance around with the coconuts on our heads, and he just told me all this rich history about listening to the Beatles in his shack back in '37, and when he was 37 years old, when he was a kid, and I guess he was visiting Malaysia, and he was playing the drums with the coconuts, and you just never know what you're going to learn about somebody when you go out of your way to meet them. And it's beautiful when you get to these people and you get to see how it goes. So traveling locally, folks. So there's a couple things right there that I really like is manually traveling, using exercise to travel as means to get there, and you can travel locally. You don't have to go far to travel. You don't. You can go right in your own backyard and just focus on one little corner of your backyard that you never really paid attention to. And you could plant a flower there, you could do push-ups in the corner, whatever. It doesn't matter. You could do little tulips, put a pink doily down there, and take a picture, a selfie, if you will. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is you make the best of your traveling needs and time. And so, like I said, the most rewarding way is to go traveling. And to travel is the most rewarding way to go. Really, it is. And you could apply everything else to your traveling desires. When I'm traveling, I'm always in convenience when necessary. I'm always in cooperation with the people around me, which keeps me in safety, which then inspires love, which gives me the action of productivity, because the most rewarding way to travel is to go. And so that was my exciting little Moontime devotion I wanted to share with everyone. This episode might be a little shorter than the other one. I don't know, because I don't plan these ones out really. I was so excited this morning to share this one. I may have cut it a little short, or I may have extended it too long. We'll see what happens. But traveling is just, life is a blast when you get to travel. And there's so many places you could go, and so many different ways of transportation you can use to explore the world above and around you and below you and to the left and right of you. So open yourselves up to broaden your horizons and want to go on an adventure, because it's a beautiful big world out there. It really is. It's a beautiful big world. There's so many beautiful people that we could meet. We hardly have time to meet everyone on here. I think there's 5 billion, 6 billion people on Earth, somewhere around those numbers, maybe more. My numbers might be off, but there's so many people you could meet. I think the camera cut out there at the end for whatever reason. We don't usually throw edits in here, but when the camera cuts out short, we do have to at least add a conclusion for you folks. I was just simply saying thank you for joining. Remember that it's convenience, cooperation, safety, love, action, productivity, because the most rewarding way to go is to travel, especially with the people around you. So be loved, be blessed. We love you. Thank you for joining the YouTube channel. All of our brand new subscribers, we're blessed to have you and so grateful that you're here. And we just ask that you would leave a comment and tell us what you think. Tell us what we could fix. We will work on getting that Patreon link to you so we can get new equipment and really start making more videos. And we're just so happy to be alive, and we're happy to be in your lives as well. And well, just let us know how you feel, and smile, because we only have so much time left. No matter how old or small or young or sick or disadvantaged you are, we only have so much time to smile, because it's less muscles in your face to smile than it is to scowl. And that's a lesson I've learned throughout my life, and I'll keep that scone and my coffee in the early morning on these Moontime devotions. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, Graham Smith.